Welcome to Sea Beasts podcast. Sea Beast pod. Yep, that's it. Welcome to Sea Beast podcast. I'm Steven, your host, and with me also as host, as always, is Ralph. The two hosts, the duo hosts.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk about finishing projects. Sometimes finishing sentences, because I have a hard time with that occasionally too. But mainly talking about finishing projects, how to push through and finish projects, as well as, like the middle part of projects being hard, which is kind of the same thing I just said. But also when to call a project done. So how to finish projects, but also when to say you are finished with said project. But first, let's have a little bit of small talk here. And we're going to go into talking about the weather. So over to you, Ralph. What's the weather like in your neck of the woods?
Yeah. The weather is better now. We've been sort of back and forth. I live on the East Coast in the Appalachian range. I don't know what that says about me, but I like it here. The climate
it's
we get every
right?
season, right? And
yeah.
So, but lately it's been a lot of back and forth. We got hit with a decent amount of snow and ice, and then it finally all melted when we got this heat spurt where it got up into the 60s, and then it took a dive again, and we got another storm.
Man,
and it's supposed to, which is where we're at now, pretty much. But then it's supposed to heat up again, this weekend into next week, into the 70s, I think. So
that is pretty crazy. So I'm in Colorado, and we missed out on most of the crazy storm that's been rolling in. My brother's in Brooklyn, and he got 18 inches of snow.
Yeah,
his car is one of the ones that got barricaded in on the side street parking by a wall of plowed snow, and then top of his car had 18 inches, he said.
That's nuts.
It was pretty nuts. But over here in Colorado, we've been having high 60-degree weather for the last week, which has been great. So, although we did have one day, last Friday. Okay, so here's the thing. We didn't really get much snow. It barely dusted the ground. But in some parts of Colorado, you're the further you get, we live in what's called the Front Range of Colorado. So we're in a flat area, and all the mountains of the Rocky Mountains are right next to us. And it's just, we can see them. It's beautiful. And about a 20 to 30 minute drive from where I live, you'll be in the foothills, so in the base of the mountains. And then there's all these roads that go up through the mountains, mountain towns, everything there. There's a drastic temperature change and weather difference, just getting into the base of the mountains than it is from just being in the area in town we are. And so on Saturday, we were going to go to the zoo in our town, which we're members of. My kids love going there. I love going there. Honestly, it's really fun. But the zoo it's called Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, and it's tucked away in the front of the mountains there, up on a hill. And so it's always 10 degrees colder up there than it is just in town. And we went first thing in the morning, and that night before we had a little bit of snow flurries. So we were driving everywhere in town was completely clear, nothing on the roads anywhere. We round this last bend to go up the hill to the zoo, and it's a sheet of ice. It is so much ice. There's zero traction. It's not even oh, it's ice and some snow. It's just ice.
Yeah.
And we saw a couple cars spin out in front of us and turn around and just be no. And we're well, we can probably make it. So we have our 2006 Honda Odyssey minivan, and start going, and we're it's a little slick, but we're still making progress. Up until the point where we stopped making progress, and the car just stopped and started sliding backwards. We were able to come to a stop, but then I couldn't turn. I couldn't accelerate. Yeah. I don't know what to do here. So I ended up putting it in reverse and kind of turning and sliding into the curb, the back of my car into the curb. So that way maybe I could just use gravity to then just pull the front of the car down. And it kind of worked. I got to the curb, was still kind of stuck, and then other cars were like stopped behind me now. Someone got out of the car and like pushed the van off of the curb and like got it going. And we didn't go to the zoo, but so instead of seeing fun animals, we had meltdowns in the car and lots of crying. So
Yeah. Wow. That's a
yeah,
bummer. How far along into the trip is that?
I mean, so it's 25 to 30 minutes to the zoo,
Okay.
and so we were about 26 minutes in.
Oh, crap.
Literally, like
Worst case
it
scenario.
was bad. Yeah, we're right there, and the kids are all excited about it, and they've been talking about which animals they want to see. As consolation prize, we went to Chick-fil-A, and they played in the play place there for like an hour. So, which was kind of
Yeah,
nice.
not too bad.
My wife and I just sat and had coffee, and they played. So,
Great. Yep.
yeah,
Well, that's good that that ended okay. I mean, the most important thing in those situations is definitely just to relax and not panic. You'll get through.
yeah. No, I was super stressed.
I'm sure
But
it's stressful, but like, I guess what I mean is you have to be you just have to slow down and
yeah,
then
no, for sure.
make deliberate decisions.
Right. And not just accelerate and turn the wheel and be like, oh, I can't go
Exactly.
anywhere. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Or yeah.
in my, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was exactly what you're saying. Or like being indecisive is also very bad.
Yeah.
That's probably the worst. Like I always say this when driving, the worst drivers are not. I mean, the, there's a lot of ways you can drive poorly, but the
Yeah.
worst ones are indecisive drivers.
Sure.
Not the fast drivers, not the people speeding or whatever, although that can cause problems like sometimes. It
Yeah.
just depends. But it's the indecisive ones who are like slow and nervous and whatever. Those are the worst ones that cause wrecks for sure.
Yeah. No, like as soon as I wasn't accelerating anymore, I was like, okay, try turning the wheel, see if I can get traction in another part of this. That didn't work. I'm sliding backwards. Okay,
Yeah.
how can I come to a stop? Well, if I hit the curb, well, hopefully, hoping I don't just slide
Yeah.
sideways down the hill, I guess. But um, at least I can then turn and yeah. Anyway, that was an exciting moment. But
Dang.
so anything else that going on in your life? Anything more fun than sliding around on ice?
More. Not really.
Been playing anything, watching anything, reading anything?
Yeah, we're still oh, yeah, you know what?
Do you
Forget
have an
that.
update on the bear?
I was about to say, yeah, we're still watching the bear, but who cares? Oh my god. It's still declining in quality.
No.
There you go. There's your update. Who cares? Um, no, we watched a movie though
Okay.
that I really liked. I could see a lot of people maybe not liking it. I
Okay.
understand. It's definitely not for everyone, whatever, but I thought it was great and I was really happy with it. It's
What's the movie?
it's it's called the movie's called Begonia
Hmm.
and it's by a director that I really like whose name I can never remember. Hold on, give me a second. I can
I've heard about this one recently.
yeah,
Didn't someone get nominated for an Oscar in that or something?
prop maybe Oscar, maybe. Maybe the main guy, or I don't know, maybe
Or
the
some
girl. I don't remember the girl's. What is her name? She's in like
Emma
La La
Stone.
Land. Emma Stone, yeah. So Emma Stone plays alongside the guy that I just always say the Breaking Bad creepy guy because that's who he is in Breaking Bad. Um, yeah, I should pull this up.
I don't remember him in Breaking Bad. Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons. He's really good in most things that I've seen him in. He's definitely stand out in this role. He plays the role so good. If anyone got nominated for an Oscar, it probably was him because he did a really good job with it.
You know what? Okay, so he's married to Kirsten Dunst,
Yes.
and there was some drama in the news about her like calling out someone else that got like Timothy. She was like calling out Timothy Chalamet, I think, because like he got nominated for the movie, but then maybe Jesse Plemons didn't or something.
Which movie? because Timothy Chalamet wasn't in this.
No, he
But
was in the like this. It's like a ping pong movie. that's a, that's the worst
what?
way to describe this movie.
What?
The table tennis. It was like a Marty Supreme is what it's called. It's like an A24 movie. Who's like I don't know. He's like super. I don't know.
I've seen promotions for this. It's about ping pong.
I mean, kind of.
It's 2.5 hours long. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a.
Have
Yeah,
you
I
seen
mean,
it?
no, I mean, I've heard good things, and he got nominated in it. So,
Thing is, I
or he
absolutely hate Timothy Chalamet.
really.
Yeah, he's been good. He was good in The King. I
I
liked The King.
I thought he was good in Dune. I enjoyed. I mean, he's a little. I mean,
We've
he's.
talked about this. But
You
not
don't
on
like
this
Dune, I
podcast.
know.
But I
Yeah.
am not. I do not like Dune.
Oh man, I think I love the
Specifically
movies.
because the director can do actual good movies,
Mm,
and Dune was just a total like crowd pleaser. Um, I just felt like it was watered down and like what would you call it? Like a big studio film essentially versus the kind of smaller story, like
sure.
interesting plots that he kind of deals with usually that are more like character driven whatever. But I forget how we
I
got
still
here.
love Dune. I love those movies.
I'm
They're
fine.
so
Look,
good.
it's fine if you like Dune. They are not bad. They're way better than most blockbusters.
Yeah,
I'll put it that way.
yeah. I love a lot of the set stuff, and like the really cinematic stuff, and the soundtrack. Like the score is pretty. It feels very epic. So it's just like it's a good ride.
Yeah. But so we watched Begonia,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
obviously it has Emma Stone and Jesse Pinkman, or sorry,
Plemons.
Jesse Plemons. Oh my gosh,
Plemons.
I was mixing up.
Unless it's lemons with a silent P. Jesse
Oh yeah,
Lemons.
maybe. No, I was messing it up with Jesse Pinkman, I think, who is in Breaking
That's
Bad, who he co-stars with in Breaking
also
Bad.
in Breaking Bad. Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, I recommend. I really love this movie. It's definitely weird. Um, but the director has done a bunch of good stuff. Like he did Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is phenomenal. He did Dogtooth, which is great. The Lobster, which was good.
I watched The Lobster. It's the only one of that list I've seen.
It's weird. I
It
mean,
was weird, but it was cool.
it's weird, but it's like he's funny, or like
Mm-hmm.
the director rather. It comes up with these kind of funny ways of putting characters in there, and they're usually a dark story to some degree.
Hmm.
And this is another hit for me. I thought it was really good.
Okay.
I had very few complaints. It's not perfect, and the ending is not going to please everyone. But I thought that the ending was the way to go for this kind of story. I really did. Without spoiling it, essentially, it's about this guy played by Jesse Plemons, who is kind of like a conspiracy theorist,
Mm-hmm.
and he suspects that that Emma Stone is an alien from outer space.
Oh,
And
wow.
so basically it's him and his friend or brother. I forget if they're actually related. It's him and one other person he stars with
Okay.
to they kind of act based off of their belief that this lady is a alien,
Oh,
and
jeez.
insanity ensues, and it's really interesting, and it
That sounds
held my
interesting.
attention the entire time, and it's a really good movie.
Did you see it in theaters?
No, we it came to streaming, and
Okay.
we rented it. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Like, I don't know the last time I went to a movie theater.
we went to the movie theater to see. That's another one. We actually went to the movie theater recently,
Okay.
and this completely left my mind somehow. But we went to see. Oh my gosh, it's so cringe. We went to see Wuthering Heights. Maybe you've heard
Okay.
of that.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's the big girl
Yeah.
movie currently.
How was it?
It's a girl movie.
Yep. I heard people say it wasn't. This is not. They're like it wasn't as spicy as they wanted it to be. But I'm like,
Yeah. Apparently, the book is like
they said it's
weirder.
Yeah, and also
And
not
like
spicy in that way.
right, it's not like what I've heard of the book is it's just like darker than the movie.
Hmm. Interesting.
Which is interesting because usually I find people take the book of something and then just like make it more gross in the film
Hmm.
or something, you
Like
know.
over exaggerated.
But they actually seem to water down elements of the book in for the movie, from what I heard, because obviously I haven't read the book. But the movie was watchable, and I didn't totally hate it or anything. It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. Decent excuse to go to the theater, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Um,
always fun. I haven't. It's been a while since I've gone. I think the last Dune movie might have been the last time we went. But um, anyway, so I've got a show and a game that I've been entertained by. I don't know how to describe both of those together.
a
Uh,
show.
so uh, we mentioned Shrinking on Apple TV briefly in a previous
Yes.
couple episodes ago. Um, it's such a good show. It's just like wholesome, kind of. uh, I don't know. It's like someone described it to me recently as it's essentially a cartoon for adults. Which like not saying cartoons are not for adults, but like the characters are not all characters that would all be like this and be together in real life. Like these groupings of characters are like super. They're great, and I really like the characters for the most part. And there's like this show, it makes me laugh almost every time, and there's many episodes that like make me tear up, sometimes sad tears, sometimes happy tears. And it's got Harrison Ford in it, who his character is great, and there's lots of great development of his character, of all the characters. Like season 3 is current right now, and like we all the characters have feels like a lot of growth over the 3 seasons. And I don't know, just some interesting things, like some kind of ridiculous like plot elements that happen, um but other parts that just like I don't know, it's just good. It's like focusing around this group of people, mainly Jason, uh, what's his
Seagull.
Jason Siegel, is like is a dad with a daughter, and like he's essentially like unraveling at the beginning of season 1 because his wife had passed away, and then he's just kind of living in this. She like she died in like kind of a somewhat tragic way, and then he's just living in this like grief for like a year of his life or so, and that's when the show takes up, to the point where he like hasn't been like parenting his daughter and all this stuff. I say this show like makes me laugh. This sounds horrible, but um he like builds, and it's this whole thing of like he's in this terrible spot, but he's also a therapist. And so it's just like him trying to help other people when he's completely messed up. And
Yeah.
it's just like, I don't know. The story is it's great. It develops really well. Some of the characters are really good.
Okay.
Like there's some tense moments and like some things you're just like, oh man, like this is super uncomfortable. But there's also like some hilarious things, some good like growth, and like, yeah, I don't know. It feels it's a good show.
It's a feel good show.
Kind of. Uh, I don't. That's not how I would describe it, but maybe. It's not like everything good always happens, and it's not like a sitcom. It's definitely like drama, and there's like big things that happen. There's like bad things that happen, crazy things. I don't know. It's just I really like it.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it now, kind of the promo stuff, and uh, obviously I recognize the Jason guy from How
How
I
I
Met
Met
Your
Your
Mother,
Mother.
and then
What?
and then also Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is
Yeah.
a good movie. I actually enjoy the movie. As
What's
far as rom-coms go, that one's a decent one.
what's hilarious is that the I can't remember the actress's name, but Robin from How I Met Your Mother,
Yeah, Robin.
she comes in season 2.
Really?
And so then she's in the show too. Very different character, obviously, but um
Is she not the worst character ever written like
no,
she
she's
is
actually
in
great.
I hate Robin from
Yeah, no, there's a
uh
lot of yeah. Let's not get into that. Anyway, so the other thing I have a game I've been playing, and that game is Deep Rock Galactic. Um, which is it's an 8-year-old game at this point. But I got super into it in like the last 2 weeks since our last episode,
Yep.
which is funny because Ralph and I actually tried this game two years ago, something like that, and it was free. It was on Game Pass. We had Game Pass at the time. And we played like a couple missions in this game, which if you don't know, Deep Rock Galactic, similar-ish game to another more recent popular game called Helldivers 2. And if you don't know what that is, essentially you choose missions, variety of different types of missions in different areas. You choose your difficulty and you like drop in. And then you go in and have to complete this mission against waves of enemies. Like while waves of enemies are attacking you, you've got guns and things to in this game kill all these like bugs, spiders, and stuff in Deep Rock. And like while you're trying to mine minerals or run like pipelines and do like all these different objectives, collect rare things, with the threat of like swarms of enemies attacking you. I think when Ralph and I played it, we only got like a few missions in, and we're like, well,
Really, yeah.
this feels a little repetitive, and there's not much to it. I don't know. Whatever it was, whatever the reason, we just like couldn't get into it. Maybe it was just the timing. But when I just started playing it like a couple weeks ago, like I've just been playing so much. Like if I have any like free time that I'm like not hanging out with the kids, or like if my wife's gone and the kids are in bed, like I'll just be like playing that. And once you get past those initial intro missions, like I kind of just like force myself to get past them because I'm like, oh, this is where I got stuck last time. And maybe that's something to look at for like the onboarding experiences, for like new people, for looking at like games and entertainment. Like there's some element of, you need to look at your onboarding because like if you're new to the game, it does a good job of introducing you to all the missions, but it starts you out with this like thing called an assignment, which is essentially like, hey, you complete a set of 10 missions, which that's kind of a big investment. When every mission is like 20 minutes to 30 minutes and you have to complete 10 of those before you feel like you can do anything else.
Yeah.
That's like a couple hours you have to invest before you can like move on to other things. So yeah, I don't know. I think that might have been part of the issue is like feeling like, oh, I have to do a lot before I can actually get into the game in some capacity.
And
Uh,
not understanding the game yet also hinders your incentive to keep going because you don't even know what you're
yeah, I don't know all the
going for.
possibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, a good on-ramping experience is hard to get right. And for some games that have maybe deeper systems or more complex, or maybe they've been around longer. So, like, for instance, with Deep Rock Galactic, because it's an older game, but it's been sustained,
Yeah.
there's a lot to dive into.
Yeah.
Um, a similar thing happened to me with the Monster Hunter games, because the
Oh, yeah.
first time I tried to get into it, it wasn't. I was like, I just didn't get it. I was like, okay, now I just go and hunt something now, and you don't really understand why it matters
Huh.
or
Yeah.
what's cool about it at all. And it takes a while of like actually diving into the systems to understand, oh, this is the game loop.
Yeah.
You you do this and it'll get me that cool thing. And that's going to make me power up, and then I'll be able to go and do these extra things, and then you're kind of sucked into it that way. Um, yeah.
It's something I've thought about a lot, especially back when we were like working on a board game, and just in game design in general. Just like I've watched videos, which one of my favorite YouTube channels is Game Maker's Toolkit. So if you're into video games or game design, he's got awesome videos like breaks down different game design elements or like specific games and different things. I just like his videos. Anyway, um, I lost my train of thought talking about that. What were we just talking about? Onboarding experiences. So I've watched like a ton of videos, read stuff about it, like researched, kind of planned out a lot of things of like how to onboard someone to anything in general, whether that's a new book series like Wally, the Maplemore Tales, and thinking about how to get people into the world and like essentially what's the hook that like they read a couple pages and they want to keep reading, or for like a game, you know, board games are notorious for long rule books that if someone doesn't sit down ahead of time and spend 30 minutes plus reading the book to understand how to play the game, like you're never going to play the game. So kind of thinking through like tutorial scenarios and like interactive, like all these things of how to onboard someone. Um, so what actually this came up in my book. So in this first book with Wally, the first, even the second draft of the book just kind of like jumped into the action of like this character's doing this and something's happening and it's like what's going on, which like in theory could work if someone's familiar with the characters in the world a little bit. Not to say it can't work in general, it might be okay, but I realized I didn't want to. One, I didn't want to just like jump in expecting people to just go along with it and understand what's going on. But the other side of that, I didn't want to just do here's a big lore dump of just like, hey, here's all the backstory of everything you need to know about the world. And like, I didn't want to create like an encyclopedia of the characters in the world for someone to jump into. Like, not that I was going to do that in general, but I found like, I think what I think is a good middle ground of like introducing a little bit of lore while also introducing the characters. And so instead of just like, here's the characters doing their things in their daily lives, I started out at like this campfire scene with like all the little waffles, including Wally and Marge, his butterfly companion, sitting there listening to like a camp counselor or ranger or somebody like older waffle telling a story about the history of this world. And so in doing so, it establishes like here's Wally in like this village of waffles, but then here's like snippets of this like history of this world that Wally interrupts in the story. So like as he's telling the story, Wally's like interjecting. He's like, "Oh, like I love this part, or I love these things," and the counselor's like Wally, I'm telling the story. Stop talking. Um, so in doing this, it like gives you some of this backstory that is important to the world, but also introduces Wally's character as kind of being this character that is just kind of
excitable and
excitable.
adventurous. And
Yeah.
I've heard this rule that some people operate off of, where they're like, when it comes to a screenplay or writing or
Mm-hmm.
story moments, stuff like that, every scene should be accomplishing two things at once. And that's a good example of like, we
Interesting.
need character development, and we need exposition, but it shouldn't feel just like an exposition dump.
Yeah.
So that's a good example, I think. And it introduces you to the characters as well. And, so that might even accomplish more than just two things. Yeah, multiple things at once being accomplished and driving the plot forward in at least one way is super important, for narrative focused
Yeah.
experiences.
I haven't heard that before. That's really interesting though. Like it's not even something I've thought about. I'll have to like, not that I'm gonna go rewrite everything. I still could, but I like have to like go back and read through in like that different lens of what
It
what
it
all is
could
happening here.
spark, yeah, I mean, it could spark even something you wouldn't have thought of otherwise, like,
Yeah.
okay, what else could this scene accomplish? And then it might just spark like, oh, well, I could have a character, either perform an action simultaneously, or it could tie into something that happened before as a talking point, or like loop
Or
things
is
together, tie
yeah
things
leading
around.
into something that happens later.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
Or
interesting.
foreshadowing would be, yeah, I mean,
That's the word.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I guess as we're talking about my book, I've gotten a little bit more progress on illustration. Um, kind of still just cranking through some of that. I had a weird moment today that I was working on some like during my lunch break that I don't know, I had this like random spurt of motivation. I think I was stuck on this page for a while, this like new page that I'm illustrating, and I reworked I had sketches on this page, on every page, and I kind of this happened when I was writing too, but like I have something there, but it just doesn't feel right. There's something about it that I'm just like, something isn't quite working how I want it to be. And it takes a lot of work sometimes to tried multiple things over and over to get something that sticks or to like find the right thing to do it. But anyway, I've been doing that on this page. And I think finally, like today, I hit a point where I'm like, oh, this is what this illustration should be. And like I changed the layout of the page, changed like what was happening. Um, One of the things that I had kind of like, I had three things going on this page, and one that was up in the corner, I'm like, that should just be the focus. So I kind of removed the other pieces on the bottom half of the page that were a little redundant and kind of like showing like the next page shows more of what was coming, like more of what I had there. So I'm like, what if I just introduce this part of this concept? And I'm speaking in really vague terms right now. Just introduce like this part of the concept, full screen, like on full image, full bleed, whatever on this page. And then just use the next page for those other actions and things I was going to show to not, you know, be redundant and to not feel like there's too much going on in the page. Anyway, with that, I drew some of the pieces, and I have some new some new characters in my world. I decided that this was just something I decided today. So this is a fantasy breakfast world. Okay, for those of you who haven't been tracking, and Wally the Waffle is the main character. It's a children's like illustrated like picture book. So anyway, this scene is a lore piece that's like introducing these magic forks that were forged a long time ago. And so this particular scene is talking it's when that ranger guy I was just mentioning is talking about when the forks were created and when they were forged. And so the whole scene is like a forge and like a big anvil table kind of thing and some people like hammering on the thing on the fork to like to work blacksmithing stuff, like work the metal and everything. And so I was trying to decide like what type of food would be blacksmiths in this world, and kind of the dwarves of my world. And I landed on potatoes, the spuds, because they're underground.
Hmm,
They grow
that's a good idea.
underground like dwarves. And so I've got this this potato with like a welding mask and doing some stuff, and another guy with a hammer. And they've got beards and like those little like little eyes on potatoes, like little growths that grow on them. Um,
Yeah.
I've got him. He's got some of those on there too. So that was a fun. I'm like, that's what the dwarves are. They're not dwarves, but like the smiths that are underground are gonna be the spuds. So
I need to send you something
okay.
regarding potatoes because I recently, not that recently, but I've seen this, and literally every time somebody talks about potatoes, I think of
Gosh,
this, and maybe this can spark something for you, but it's honestly horrifying. Um,
I'm scared.
what's the easiest way? I guess I could just text you. Um,
Yeah, can you describe it to our listeners? What's happening?
you describe it when you
Oh my
see it.
gosh. Okay.
This is the most nuts thing. But ever since I saw this image, I've looked at potatoes in a whole different light. I
Oh my
just
gosh.
so they're insane.
Yeah.
They are like very resilient, and you see, it's like an alien.
Is this at
Basically,
your
is
house?
no, no.
Oh, okay.
This image got like semi famous because people would meme it. Like other plants die instantly when I put them in my house. This one, like, is fighting for its life,
So
trying to find
essentially
soil.
the picture, yeah, it's in like someone's pantry on a shelf. You can't even see that there's a potato there, really. But there's like maybe that's a bag of potatoes. Okay, I see. It's a bag of potatoes. It has so many those little like, not even just like little eyes. It's just got growths of like tendrils,
Yeah, they're
like a
looking.
1,000 tendrils, viney things coming out, like it's trying to find dirt to
It,
grow.
it looks like an eldritch
um,
horror monster of some
Dude,
kind. Like,
that could be actually that is some good inspiration. There could be like a crazy potato leviathan. I don't know.
Sure,
uh,
or just like even just thematically speaking to the resilience of and the
yeah,
survival instinct of like potatoes or whatever,
or
right?
their
So
arms and legs could be those viney things. So
maybe, yeah, maybe.
um,
Um, but yeah,
that's
that's cool
crazy.
though. I like the concept.
Cool. Yeah. So I guess on that note, talking about working on projects that are taking a long time or that we want to finish. This segues nicely into our topic today, which is about finishing projects. And it's something I'm actively working on for this. I think I feel like I always have a hard time finishing any kind of project. Uh, this keyboard that I was building for a friend of mine that I needed to do some like last finishing touch on. It's been sitting there for months. I haven't done that.
You're at the
My
finish line.
I know it's like one thing. It literally took me like a day to do, or not even like a full day. But when we moved into our house 6, 7 years ago, we redid one of our rooms and like had to cut a hole in the wall to do a new doorway. We essentially built a wall to separate two rooms. And when we put this new doorway in, we didn't put trim up, and I still haven't put trim up 7 years later.
So
So
I have some unpainted trim in my house that I've been needing to get to.
well, it's not. There just isn't trim. It's the door frame, a gap, and like the rough edge of the drywall there, and the drywall screws showing up through it. Uh, yeah.
I
So
get it. How
there's
dude, it is so difficult to conserve energy to pour into like
yeah,
a house project after work or over a weekend, right? Because you work and you feel like you earned that time
right.
to then just turn right around and dedicate it to
I don't
some
want to do more
project.
stuff.
Yeah, it's
um,
difficult.
yeah, I feel like this happens in my work too, where like even like design related things, where I'll like for this thing I'm working on for my at my job. I'm like designing pieces of this tool or redesigning something, and I can get it like all the way there, but then that last step of like logging all the work I did to create tickets for developers to do it, like the
Well,
little things.
that's not a problem of finishing work. That's a problem of corporatism, like
Yeah.
bureaucracy, garbage, filing, tracking stuff. That's crap.
No, I'm not even talking about
Because
tracking stuff. I'm talking about submitting the things for developers to then implement the work I did. So it's still kind
oh,
of
maybe
like
that's
part
a little
of
different.
is a little different. It's still something that I hate, and it's a different thing that it's not part of the creative job. And so any of those like other things I have to do, it's so hard to like. I'm like, I just need to list these things out and literally just send a message to someone, or like create tickets. Like the times where I have to go through and just like create tickets for the development work that needs to get done. It's just like I hate those like tedious things, the finishing touches, the last elements. But
Yeah, the hardest ones for me are the ones related to like I have to go into a spreadsheet, I have to go into a report, I have
yeah,
to go and like look at numbers and stuff like that that isn't actually creative, It's
yeah,
just like funneling things where they need to go. That's a tough one. But for the
yeah.
house project one, I do have a good new perspective on this.
Okay.
Just hire someone else to do it. That's what I've started doing with all projects. Is just
Yeah.
I'm gonna hire someone.
No, I've been considering that a lot more recently. Just like anything we want to do, I'm like, do I really have the time, the energy, the motivation to like jump in
Dude,
and do this thing?
we reached out recently saying like, hey, we're looking for someone to handle this like landscaping thing that we're doing. We kind of described what I say we basically um my wife reached out on Facebook
Okay.
just to be like, hey, does anybody have any recommendations for landscapers because we're trying to do like these things.
Yeah.
So she did that, and one person replied and was like, you could just DIY all
Oh my
this.
gosh.
And I'm like, do you not understand? Like, they were like, you could DIY all this. It would save you a bunch of money. It's like, do you understand this isn't about saving money? This is about saving time.
Yeah.
Time is more valuable than money. So
Yeah,
this is
depending on
about
what you're doing, it could. Yeah, definitely.
this is about saving time. Plus,
Right.
you wouldn't end up saving that much money in the long run, anyways. Truthfully, for some of this stuff, because materials are what they are. All you got
Yeah,
to do is just find someone willing to do it for whatever their labor cost is, and you buy materials, and then, I mean, whatever. Dude, to me, that's worth it.
I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of things like DIY. There's so many more things where I'm like, I could figure this out. I don't want to. We
And
have like a
sometimes you DIY, like, if you don't fully understand. Like, I've known people to try and DIY, like, an issue with,
mm,
like, a leak or something,
oh,
and they've ended up making it worse because they don't actually understand it, and then
yeah,
they have to
spend
hire
way
someone
more.
anyways. So then you've wasted time, money, and you have to just hire someone anyways. But
No, I don't touch. I don't touch plumbing.
yeah, plumbing or maybe electric.
I've done a bunch of electrical stuff. I've replaced all
That's
the outlets
true,
in my
because,
house, a bunch of light
well,
fixtures.
that was part of your job before, right?
Kind of. I was technically an apprentice electrician for a short period of time. uh, yeah, I did a little bit of that. Anyway, so finishing finishing projects. House projects are one thing, but when it comes
Yes.
to like creative projects, I feel like house projects, I can be like, get all the stuff done, and then it's the finishing touches that are hard. Uh, with creative projects, I feel like I get bogged down like in the middle. Like once I've got so like I love the ideation, I love the concepting, create this story of Wally. Even I wrote the whole story and like wrote all that out, and that wasn't. There were some elements of that felt a little tedious and were hard to push through. Like when I'm stuck on a scene and I can't resolve how it's supposed to go, um, that gets hard. But then I could just make myself sit down and just like workshop it, or step away for a little bit and come back to it like another time.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like right now is the hardest time, the hardest moment, or the hardest part of this book that I'm in, and that's doing all the illustrations. Like,
Hmm.
there's been multiple hard parts. One was refining the story and the writing. Another one was then doing the last round of edits and putting finishing touches, mostly finishing touches. We'll do another pass like once it's like art is done and in there too, on the writing. And then I went and put like rough sketches on every page and rough layouts. And that was hard because I'm like, it felt repetitive. It felt like, man, have I done this layout too many times? I feel like I've got a frame here and like 3 across the bottom. I feel like I'm doing this too many times. So like there's elements of like doing so much of that one type of work in a row that like the repetitiveness and me being just in it for so long, it just gets hard to either feel like it's fresh or feel like it's inspired. Um,
Yeah.
and you kind of lose motivation. And so like I feel like part of what I'm doing now with so much of like the main illustrations are I'm getting in that same place where like one, I'm not super confident in my illustration. I'm getting there. I'm getting better, but I feel like I'm putting so much time in like in drawing this page, and then as soon as I start a new page, even though I have the sketch there already, I'm getting onto this new page. I'm just like, oh man, I gotta do that all again. And like there's parts of it that are fun, and but it's just hard to like stay motivated. Like what have you found like when you're working on creative projects? Like where do you get bogged down the most? Or, like what's the hardest part about like finishing a project for you?
The hardest part for me, um, I mean, big picture, probably the middle, like we've
Hmm.
discussed.
Yeah.
But if you want to look more granular, I would say sitting down, removing
Hmm.
distractions, and just starting to work on any of it. That's probably the biggest blocker to get past
Hmm.
for me. Because once I've sat down and started working, your mind sort of takes over. You sort of enter problem solving mode, creative mode, flow state, whatever.
Yeah.
And you just keep going, and you make progress, as big or small as it is. Um, Sometimes it'll be a huge amount of progress. Sometimes it won't be very much, but it's progress. So the hurdle for me really is like sitting down and being like, okay, I'm going to do this, instead of like whatever could distract you. So video games or scrolling or other forms of procrastination, like just doing something else kind of related tangentially to the project, but
Hmm.
it isn't the progress you want to make in the area you want to make it.
That's
So
actually that's a really good point. And I think I'm the same. I know I said like my part is like pushing through on those like harder parts of when it's like repetitive. But really when I sit down and start doing it, then I'm like, oh, I'm just drawing. I'm doing this. I'm working on it. But it's getting the motivation or whatever to actually start doing it. Because like there's times where I'm like I said in my free time I've been playing Deep Rock Galactic where I'm like in my head I'm like, oh, I should be drawing or I should go work on that.
and then you end up feeling bad about like
Yeah,
enjoying
which like
yourself, which is sad.
I don't need to feel bad, but also I'm like I want this to be a thing.
Yeah.
And so I feel I'm like, oh, I'm not very disciplined right now.
Now
Like,
everybody goes through that.
yeah,
I think it that's why it is the word you said, very good word, discipline.
yeah,
Comes down to discipline. And you need to find the balance between working yourself to death
yeah,
or between that and then being able to enjoy yourself or spend time in other areas that are also important, like family.
yeah.
um
And
so
you can't rely on like the excitement. You can't rely on
right.
motivation. Like, I think there's so many. Like when you start a project, you're excited about the idea, or you can. I have an issue. Like I've had this issue of jumping off of projects and starting something new. I think a lot of people do because it's
Oh, yeah,
easier and it's more exciting to be like, oh, I've got this new idea. This could be really cool. And like the idea is cool, but putting the work in to finish something, that's the hardest part. Um,
absolutely.
and yeah, so I guess you can't rely on that on just feeling motivated. There's times where I'm like, I don't feel motivated to draw right now. I'd rather do something easy, but like I make myself sit down and draw or write or whatever. And then after like a few minutes, I'm like, I'm in it. And then I've motivated at that point, I guess you could call it. Um, but I think you need to like, yeah, having discipline is helpful, but I think you need to, I mean, you need to be disciplined. That's like the overall thing. You can't just be like, I don't want to be so prescriptive. You can be wishy washy and do whatever you want and get it done, someday. If that's what you want
No,
to do.
you
Like,
can't
yeah, no, yeah,
sit
you're
down
right.
and do it. You'll
Just
never do
do
it.
it. Um,
Just
I mean, it won't. You probably won't finish it if you are wishy washy and you're just like, oh, well, when I feel like it, I'll work on it. Like, you're probably not going to finish anything. And so, like, you can't rely on that on feeling motivated all the time. So I think what you like almost need to force yourself to do it, and part of that could be like building in a routine. Like, if you're, hey,
yeah,
whether that's
routine's a good one.
yeah, whether that's or like I guess there's two parts. Like it could be a regular routine. So like every I don't know, every morning before I do whatever with my coffee, I work on something or something like that. Or even if it's not like a regular like daily routine, at least being like finding time in a schedule and like plot it out on a schedule of like, hey, this is a thing that I'm going to sit down and do at this time. So that way you're like, that's your plan. And I think it's easier to start doing it and jump into it when it's planned out like that, rather than being like, oh, I've got free time. What should I do? Well, I'm just gonna go and like chill, play a game, watch a show. But I think if you really want to finish something, you need to set time aside specifically for this thing you're working on, whatever it may be. Um,
Yeah, I
that's what I'm
agree.
that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah.
um,
Some of it's personality based too. Like not everyone's going to have the exact same
yeah,
method or struggle because some people are just straight up obsessive to the point where they need to be scheduling time away from their personal projects
sure,
because they're
yeah,
so just in it and they can't stop, right? And then some people don't do as well with the idea of a routine or schedule, so that kind of fatigues them even
mm,
thinking of it that way.
that's fair.
It's kind of about beating your own brain. It's like whatever works for you to kind
Yeah,
of get you to sit down and work on something. Different things will work for different people there. It's really about defeating your whatever is blocking you
yeah,
from getting progress, you know?
yeah. That's interesting. You talk about like if some people need to like pull themselves like away if they're like too obsessive or just like can't stop working on it. Like I am that way sometimes. It's like these weird cycles of like I am so into a project and an idea and whatever that like my wife will be like, "Hey, you're getting a little too sucked into that," and like I get really sucked into certain things, and like sometimes it's a game I'm playing and I'm just like watching videos on it, and then I'm like, anytime I have, I'm like gonna go
Me
game,
too.
um, or with a creative project like this. I'm working on the book, but I'm also working on this video game idea that I've had for
Yeah.
years, and so like I'm
Is that actually
researching.
true?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's I pulled out this game design document for like this video game that was like the first game I had ever started working on the concept, which then stemmed off into what the board game was becoming. And I started writing a novel series in this world, writing a novel in this world, and recently kind of pulled it back out, and I've been refining the concept and
That's
um,
really funny.
building out the world and like researching like different video game art styles. Anyway, that's not gonna
Dude's
be happening.
like, I have all these drawings to do. Here's a design document from 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Now's a good time at any.
That's a fun idea. Let me think about something else that's easier to just brainstorm and not sit down and do the work on.
Exactly. Well, that's kind of what I was saying earlier, where you kind of find something else sort of related to
Yeah.
something creatively.
It
But
definitely.
I've also heard though, not to enable, but
Yeah.
I've actually heard that some people do need a few plates spinning at once so that they
Yeah.
can kind of bounce back and forth between a few things to keep it fresh in their mind, and so they're
Yeah.
not just staring at the same type of thing all the time. That's a tactic I've heard that works for some people. So maybe, you
I
know,
I definitely need that. Like I think having different creative juices flowing for different things helps me. Like I think I didn't draw for a couple of days and I was working on this game design document, and then I came back to this page and I'm like, "Oh, what if it was about this forge, and what if these characters were potatoes?" And it was just kind of like, it sounds really stupid when you talk about it like that, but
no,
um
your brain needs breaks. It's
yeah, so like
true.
if I take a
It's
break from
true.
drawing and like being in this place and I can work on something else creatively over here, like it's like different parts of my brain of like the technical drawing versus like ideation. And I love ideation and world building and all that stuff of just like plotting things out for some reason. I just like really love that stuff. I like drawing and seeing it come to life, but like it's hard to do it all the time. So I think having other things, moving helps with that for sure.
Dude, the
I
most insane statistic I heard recently is that the people's actual ability to like focus on just like focus on a task
Yeah.
at any given time is like 12 to 20 minutes at a
What?
time before your brain needs like to step away, which
That's
is
crazy.
actually an insane. I don't know if that's declined over time. It probably has.
Dang.
Um, our attention spans are totally fried.
That's nuts.
Um,
Well, okay, so I guess the last thing on some of this. Did you want to say anything else about attention
no,
spans?
I was just mentioning like that sort of relates to your brain needs breaks.
Yeah.
How many and how frequently, I don't know.
Yeah. Um I guess the last thing on this topic before we call it a day, I think the other side of what we were going to talk about, when we talked about like getting to the finish line. But then kind of in relation to, people that are more obsessive and can't stop working on something. Uh how do you decide when something is finished? um like when should you call something done? I feel like a lot of people have tendencies, and I have this in small ways and different ways, to overwork something or like uh edit things into oblivion. There's a phrase I can't think of right now, but um like with some of these illustrations, once I get into it and I'm start, going through all the different parts of it, there's an inkling to just keep working it and keep refining it, keep cleaning up edges, keep adding things, whatever it is. That like that's a danger of being able to finish something too. You've done a lot of illustrations and different like paintings and things. I'm sure you were like, I'm sure you've looked at them and decided thought you could do a lot more or do more, add more things to it or change them. How have you decided to be like, okay, this one's done. Either I'm done with it or I need to move on. Like, what are some things that you've helped to kind of be done with something?
That's a hard question. Um, I sort of work in like layers, so not layers like Photoshop layers, but I
Literal
would just
layers.
say in phases maybe is a better way. Like,
Okay.
you start out with like you construct the piece with line art or blocking, however you want to do that. Then you would if you went with line art, you would like block colors.
Mm-hmm.
There's a million ways to do it, but you'd like kind of build the thing piece by piece.
Yeah.
Shadows, light, color, line art, detail work, rendering, etc. Texture. So for me, what it usually comes down to is once I've applied every necessary piece
Mm-hmm.
to every part of the piece as a whole is pretty much when I'm done, and then I'll see if the computer can take it just a slight bit further, because now we have, you can add an effect adjustment layers or whatever to
Sure.
the
Yeah.
entire thing to kind of add little finishing touches, little fine tunings. And I do think a fine tuning stage is a good idea. But really when you here's how I would think about it, actually. I really think that when you call something done is basically when you've maxed out your ability on the piece.
Hmm.
Don't just continue agonizing over the same piece. Move to a fresh piece and then max out your ability again. Because you don't want to underperform,
Yeah.
but you don't want to work a piece beyond what you're even capable of. So if you're obsessing forever and it's just not getting done, and the changes that you are continuing to make to the piece as you're picking away at it and trying to, like, strong arm it into what's in your imagination,
Yeah.
what you'll find is your piece is going to end up looking worse and worse as you
Yeah.
continue to do that. So it's better to just max out your ability, make the best thing you can. But when you're to that point where you're just totally obsessing and you feel like you're making it worse, not better, it's probably time to call it quits and move
Hmm.
on to the next thing and try to learn what you can from the experience.
Yeah.
Probably what I would do, or how I would kind of frame that in your mind.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, there's times where, like, like I said, sometimes the nuance, even like the granularity of an individual character on an individual page, like I'm like zooming way in to be like, oh, there's like a pixel off here, and
Yeah.
like some of it I think is a stalling tactic because I'm like, I don't want to then go do the next page, because then that's.
This pixel is not right. I need to.
But it feels productive, it feels like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I was editing, I was drawing, I
Right.
made changes.
Yep.
I tweaked the colors. I adjusted opacity on this a dozen times, and like, there's some element of like, just you just need to stop editing at some point, and maybe if it's even like what we were talking about before, like go on to something else, go on to your next piece. For me, go on to the next page, and then once you get through something else, you can always go back to it and be like, now that I've learned new things or I've done other things, I can, for the book at least, I can, make some revisions to some of these illustrations, make sure everything's consistent, take any new skills or new concepts that I've implemented and bring those in. Um and like you see people sometimes they'll be like uh show an illustration online and they're like, oh, this is what I did 5 years ago and this is what I did now, and like they recreate the same piece, but like their skills have increased so much that they're able to do so much more with it. Um so there's some element of like, going back to old projects once you've improved too could be
Yes.
something to do.
Although there is a limit to which that is a good idea.
No, for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
what you're talking about, there's no problem with that. That doesn't that's totally fine. But what I always call it is the George Lucas effect, where
Okay.
it's because he went back to the
Oh,
original Star Wars trilogy and after the fact and made a bunch of edits and
yeah.
changes, and dude, literally every single one of them made the movies worse. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, he tried to have those overtake the originals to where you couldn't even find the originals.
Hmm.
And it took essentially a loving fan recreation to be able to experience the movies the way that they were released in theaters originally.
Yeah.
And that is he literally just went back and made them worse. Um, I don't understand what he was thinking with that, but
That is a good point. I think if you go back to something, it should be like a new. It should be something new. It shouldn't be like replacing something old. It should be, there's a lot of games. Okay, you're gonna hate this
for the
too.
sake of comparison,
For the sake of
is
comparison,
fine, but not erasure, like
yeah,
erasing
and don't go and
the
do
original.
remasters and remakes of every video game and ruin things too. Which I know is your favorite thing to talk
Yeah,
about.
there's a 9-hour
Um,
topic we could get into if you want.
yeah. So stay tuned for our extended episode.
One of these days, we can cross that bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, I had another thought on this, but now I think I lost that.
About when something is finished.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gone. It's my brain's not at high capacity today.
That's okay. I
Um,
probably threw you off with bringing up George Lucas.
no, that was a great example. I really like that. Uh, yeah, I got it's gone forever. No worries.
Yeah, I just feel like moving on at some point is and
That
allowing people
reminded
to
me. Yeah,
appreciate something for maybe the imperfections that you see in it, maybe somebody else loves about the original work, and that's what gives it charm, right? Like
yeah,
that happens all the time.
and moving on. That was kind of the thing that reminded me. Um, I've in my exploration of hobbies and variety of skills and things I was trying to learn. A lot of times, several times, I've gone to try to learn how to code and how to make video games and different things. And like the advice there from so many people all over is to start small. Like make a small project. Don't be like, here's this big game I want to make that's got combat and multiplayer and expansive world and all these collectibles and secrets and all this stuff too. It's like, okay, what can you if you just start trying to do that, you're going to burn out and be like, this is impossible. So it's the advice is always like create multiple small projects just to have something done. Like
Yes.
you just want to have something
Build
finished,
momentum.
build momentum. So it's like, hey, you want that big expansive game? Why don't you start with like, okay, there's combat. What if you just learned how to do combat, just made a simple game that's just combat, and then like you do that, finish it, move on. Then you do a simple game that's like exploration or just movement, making movement fun, and like finding how to make all these individual pieces on their own. And then at the end of that, you'll have the skill sets to be able to put them all together to create a bigger cohesive thing, utilizing everything you have learned. So I think there's something. Sorry, I've got this like weird like itch on my nose. Um,
It's all right.
we'll push through. We'll suffer through. I think it applies here too. With like, I didn't just start making a book and like drawing and illustrating a book. Like, I've been drawing on and off for years, but then the last year I've been hardcore focusing on like I want to get better at drawing. But I wasn't like I'm gonna create this unique world and landscape of a character or whatever. I like found these daily drawing prompts, and it's like draw a plant in your house. Okay, I looked at a plant and I drew that, and then um, I liked doing that, and so then I like kept doing more plants in my house. And so there's all these there's resources, there's things around, and like, or if you have ideas for like different projects, I think finishing something small will show you that you can finish something and show you can complete something. And then moving on to like the next project, you'll keep improving your skills and get better and get better and better each time. To the point of like finishing a project, you know how to do that because you've done it a couple times. and your skills are getting better. So I think it's just, that's kind of my last words of wisdom. I don't know. I don't know if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
It's my last thought.
That's the idea behind what we're doing. I mean, that's like the whole catalyst that got us here, sort of, was that mindset. We wanted to do what you're describing, and so started a small project. I mean, it's not, it's a big project, you could say, but
Sure.
it's at least manageable.
It's
So
one
that
that
was the
it's
idea.
manageable. Yeah. And because I've built up things from other projects I've done, this one feels manageable now. It's still bigger than anything I've done, but I think it's like the next step for sure. So, all right. Any final remarks for our lovely listeners and watchers, viewers, the handful of people on YouTube?
Yeah.
You don't have to. It's fine.
I don't. That was my closing statement. Basically, is what you
Sorry.
were just saying. That's what we're doing here. That was the idea, right? So
Okay. So just rewind a little bit.
yeah,
And then you
play
re-listen to
that
Ralph's
part.
closing statement.
I was like, crap! I already blew my.
No, sorry. It's because I'm not at full functioning here. I can't I'm like, you already did that. Anyway, thanks for
That's
listening,
okay.
everyone. Our website is seabeasts.com. We can't restart that. Seabeasts.com. Beasts.com.
Don't forget.
Don't forget. Links to Discord, links to socials. Podcast is on there too. I don't know. We don't really have any action items for you. Just the podcast is the only thing right now. Socials eventually we'll have more to post. I post like shorts or reels of the podcast every other week. And if you didn't realize, this is a fortnightly podcast.
Yes.
Every 2 weeks we put in an episode. We'll see you again in 2 weeks, guys.
We'll save up all our wisdom until the next one.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
No, we have to build up more wisdom.
Yeah.
Because I'm all out now.
I'm empty too. Yeah.
All right. Thanks again for being here. We'll see you all next time.
See you guys.
Bye.